We are all doomed and nothing is ever going to be good again. You better learn some survival skills and have a lot of food and gas masks. Hello and welcome to what is right now Northern Bewitchment. Was Violet's almost 50. Wasn't sure what I wanted to do with this channel, but I think I have finally figured it out because I need a cathartic place to have some chit chats here on YouTube, and I see a lot going on that needs to be addressed. So we're going to address it together in a realistic way without fear-mongering. Well, okay, some of my titles might be a little clickbaity, but anyway, here's the deal. I have, since probably 2021, fallen into the rabbit hole / trap of being a prepper. Now, do I think being a prepper is a bad thing? No. Absolutely not. I think it's a fantastic thing. I think everyone should be prepared for if the power goes out a few hours or a few days in a winter storm or a torrential rainstorm or hurricane, for a job loss, for a death in the family, for anything like an illness that might take you off from work. I think you should have a little bit of food reserves. I think you should have some savings, which we don't have a whole lot of right now, but we're working on. I think you should have some preparations in place. Everyone should have a will. Everyone should have a life insurance policy, even if it's just $10,000 for burial and things like that. Everyone should have some things in place. I'm going to share some things in this video that I did not think I was going to share on YouTube, but you know what? I'm going to, because there's things that just need to be talked about, and I feel like there's not a whole lot of voices of reason here. I don't know how many people these videos will reach, but I'm going to do them anyway because it's time. The first thing I want to talk about is the fear-mongering with preppers. And you know who you are. All of you. I would love to name some names, but I'm not going to. But these are the people that are like, all of these stores are closing down by Christmas. Panic, panic, unemployment left and right. Oh my gosh, supply chain issues are going to make it impossible to get anything. You're going to starve. You're going to die. You're never going to find a job again. Really? Come on, man. Look, the United States and many other countries have gone through recessions since the beginning of money. I mean, recessions just happen. They happen over and over and over again, and we go up and down. The stock market goes up and down. If you put money in the stock market and you lose money in the stock market, you don't pull your money out. You leave it alone until the stock market comes back up. If you are having a rough time and struggling, you find a way to make more money. Now, that's one thing that a lot of people are like, well, I can't make more money, or if I make more money, I'll lose my Social Security or I'll lose my assistance. Look, I get it. And I'll explain why I get it later in the video because I really, really get it. But there's always something, whether it's something small like returning the bottles and cans you collected for the last 2 months if you live in like Michigan or another state where they have bottle deposits, donating plasma, which a lot of the time is $50 a pop right now. So if you're healthy enough to donate plasma, that's $200. Actually, that's $400 a month you can make if you're doing it twice a week at $50 a pop with places like CSL Plasma. There are, babysitting, walking a dog, doing odd jobs. Run your elderly neighbor around to get groceries and make $20 or $30 extra a week doing that and put that towards your gas or your groceries. There's always a way to make more money without, I don't want to say being on the books because I don't want anyone to get in trouble, obviously. But plasma is one of those things, and some of these other things are one of those things that you're going to make so little doing it that it wouldn't be something you would need to claim taxes for anyway. It would be well under $600 a month. However, it's enough to get you that extra gas, get you those extra groceries. If you've got a food pantry in your area, go. I talked about that in one of my prior videos. We happen to be very lucky, and we have an extremely abundant food pantry. Actually, we have an extremely abundant amount of food pantries in our area, and nobody goes hungry here. Like when I when I bake or cook, if I have extra things, I can't even give it away here. There's so much food in this area. And I know there are some people that live in food deserts. That will be up to you to figure out what types of things can help you make money in your area. I know things aren't easy. Look, I know things are not easy right now. I get it. I'm spending 2 to 3 times at least on groceries what I originally did. I started a TikTok. I think it's just under Violet Isla. I'll have to link that below. But I started a TikTok literally just going from store to store. And these stores are all, by the way, within 2 miles of my house. Going from store to store to just show deals and really cheap ways of making meals. There are some preppers on YouTube. One of them I'm going to name because I do agree, 2 of them I'm going to name because I do agree with a lot of the things they say. Not everything they say. I am not a religious person. I do not share their religious beliefs. However, there is Living on a Dime to Grow Rich and Prepper Princess are both sensible. Some of their titles are clickbaity, but we're trying to make a living here, guys. So they talk about the fact that number 1, don't buy things your family doesn't need. And that pertains to prepping as well. Like if you don't eat it, don't buy it. If you don't wipe your tushy with it, don't buy it. If you don't use it as a toiletry or brush your teeth with it, don't friggin' buy it. Don't buy something just because it's on sale in hopes that you might use it in an emergency. Your emergency stock should be things that you eat and you can run through, like you can FIFO that stuff. First in, first out. Okay, so I've got an extra shelf of food in the basement and I've got things that I use every day. So I'm going to use the things in my kitchen first, and then we're going to start running through in the basement. And when it's half gone, then we're going to get a few things here and there to put behind those things to kind of keep it stocked up. Now, if you're a Social Security recipient or a single parent or super low income, that might mean either going to a food pantry or doing the plasma or side gig or whatever, or if nothing else, every time you go grocery shopping, buy like 2 extra cans of green beans or 2 extra cans of tuna fish or whatever, and just be smart about it. You don't need to build a bunker. Everyone's not going to die in this recession. Look, let's start with evictions here, shall we? We're looking at Eviction Lab. This is from Princeton University. So there have been 1,240,656 evictions since mid-March of 2020. So in 2005, there were 969,303 evictions, so almost 1 million evictions just in 2005. The eviction moratorium, of course, made a big difference because what was that moratorium on for like a year and a half? There's just over that since mid-March of 2020, which is 2.5 years. Let's look at Eviction Lab in 2000. In 2000, there were 518,873 evictions. 2 years later, in 2002, there were 864,918 evictions. 2 years later, in 2004, there were 940,817 evictions. So do you see a pattern here? It's like going up 100,000 to 200,000 evictions per year. The evictions have been going up every year. Eviction filing rate is 6%, 6.38%, 6.96%, 7.04%. Between 2000, which it was at 6%, and 2005, it was 7.22%. The evictions go up every year. We have people getting evicted every year. Some of them are unfortunate circumstances. Some of them are because they lost a job. Some of them are because someone in their family passed away or they lost an income in their house. Some of them were because people were dumb. I've been that person before. I have gotten evicted in the past, not in the recent past, but in past years ago, I have been evicted because I was dumb. I had mental health issues, but I chose not to pay my bills and have a savings. I just was very fly by the seat of my pants. I was kind of a wild child when I was younger. Yeah, so evictions have been around since evictions were invented, which has pretty much been since people were renting their places out to other people. What, like, I don't know, 12 nothing hundreds of these crappy stone hotels with, composting toilets and sticks you your booty with. I don't know. But seriously, we got to stop fear-mongering and we need to start helping one another. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this to each other? Look, here's the truth of the matter. This isn't something I wanted to share, but I'm going to because I think there are more people like me that should probably be talking about this. So, I have a Master of Business Administration. I am working on a Master of Science. I have the goal one day to have my doctorate. All of my schooling is online. Before I go any further with this, I do all of this from home at my own pace. It's kind of a life pace, one class per semester type of thing. It is not full-time schooling at all. I have a Bachelor of Business, Bachelor in Science actually, of Business, specializing in hospitality and tourism. I have 20 years in hospitality and business management. However, after 10 years of severe abuse and sexual assault, I am on Social Security right now. Will I be on Social Security forever? No, I don't think so. Probably not. That's not something I want. I don't even want to be on it now. However, I have a diagnosed nightmare disorder, as in 40 electrodes on my head, sleeping in a laboratory, thought I had sleep apnea. No, I'm waking up 17 times an hour because my brain keeps waking up from horror. It's like Stephen King meets Quentin Tarantino meets Gorefest. And I have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, which causes some pretty severe depression, but more so anxiety. I am just now to the point where I can start going to grocery stores on my own without having access to calling my partner or someone I care about and not having a severe panic attack. And when I say panic attack, I don't just mean nervous and shaking. I mean tachycardia, heart rate's 170 to 180 a minute, and I'm snorting like a pig, like a wild boar, and I'm sweating profusely, and my face is beet red, and people are like, oh my God, is she having a heart attack? It's really bad. So it got to the point where I couldn't work. I am now seeking remote jobs. But again, it's not that simple. When you have anxiety and you have a really, really bad day, let me take a step back here because I know there's going to be people that are like, oh, since Gen Z came about, anxiety is fashionable. It's a fad to have mental health issues. When you are beaten that severely for 10 years, it's not a fad. It's not fun. I don't want this. I would much rather be working at a 40 or 50-hour week job, and that's the goal. I would make tons more money. I am worth so much more money than $841 a freaking stinking month. So, before anyone comes for me, I can't wait to make more money. And it's my goal in 2023 to reintegrate slowly into work. That'll probably start part-time and move up to full-time. I would like to work with some schools, and eventually I'd like to be a community college instructor, maybe even a professor one day. I have goals and aspirations and dreams. So never ever assume, and I'm not talking about retirement age Social Security, but never assume that people on SSI or SSDI are just there for the heck of it and they're bumming off the government and they're just living large. I'm not living large. My partner, who works very hard for his money, who works 40, 50, oftentimes 60 or 70 hours a week, has close to $1,000 a month in child support taken out of his paychecks for someone that is, not going to say any names, for someone that is married to a wealthy man. And one of his children, his beautiful daughter that now lives here, is on her own and 21 years old. And the other beautiful daughter that still lives with her mother is about to turn 18 years old. But, you know, things happen and he got in arrearages and he's going to be paying her for the next 4 to 5 years, even though they live in a multi-million-dollar house. Don't even get me started on the government and the system. Can't completely down it because there's one judge here that saved my life in the county I'm from, but we won't get into that in this video. Anyway, my point is, it's not easy for most of us right now. What we should be doing is helping one another. Help a brother out, help a sister out, help a non-binary friend out, help everybody, just everyone help one another. Now that might mean this month you don't have anything extra and you're the one that needs the help. I get it. Don't give things you don't have. I would never tell you that. But if you know a carpenter, have a carpenter friend in your family or whatever, have them build. Have you guys ever seen those libraries? They're like stands out in a neighborhood and they have books in them and it's like give a book, take a book type of, borrow a book, put it back type of thing, or donate a book. You can do that with food. I have seen that done. You can build those stands and make a sign that says, need food, take food, got food, leave food, and of course make sure it's like canned goods and non-perishables. Don't be putting a pound of hamburger in there because that might not turn out so great. But that's one thing that can be done. Or get your neighbors together, either get your neighbors together or start a group on Facebook or Instagram or whatever of a food share in your neighborhood. If you have extra food, offer it up. If you need food, put it on the list on the box or put it on the social media page that you need that. Let's just start helping each other out and prepping as we can. And like I said, for people on Social Security, I know that some of you aren't physically well enough. And I know that sometimes anxiety prevents you from donating plasma. I happen to have an autoimmune condition and my blood pressure runs super low. So when I have tried it, they turn me down all the time. But there are people on Social Security that are able-bodied enough to go donate plasma, even if it's just once a week. Once a week at $50, that's your gas for the whole week. Or once a week at $50, if you're a single person, that's definitely your groceries for the whole week. And I'm going to share some really cheap meals here because the other thing I want to address, man, I have a lot of things I want to address. I can't address them all in this video. We'll make more videos. We'll make lots more videos. But one of the other things I want to address is diet fads. Here's the thing. We all know that obesity causes health problems. None of us are ignorant to that at this point. So sometimes if you have to eat cheaper meals, like say you've got, I got a can of chicken and a can of mixed vegetables and a packet of mashed potatoes, I'm going to make a makeshift shepherd's pie. No, that's not the healthiest thing in the world. But if you eat a reasonable portion of it and drink a good amount of water with it instead of soda or fruit juice, you're probably going to be fine. They're finding more and more now, and I'll cite some studies in the future, that food has a little less to do with cholesterol and heart disease than we originally thought. It's primarily a genetic factor. It depends on the size of your cholesterol cells. That's a whole other conversation for a whole other video. But don't feel guilty is the bottom line. If you need to feed your family peanut butter and jelly and chicken noodle soup or some tuna salad or whatever, don't feel bad. It's okay. Because whatever you're doing right now is not only just getting you through, but it's getting you forward. It's moving you forward to get to a better place. Now, I know that the prediction is either 8.6 or 8.7% is how much the Social Security cost of living adjustment or COLA is going to raise in 2023. And that's okay. But you and I both know that doesn't keep up with inflation. There's an article from just a few days ago from Fortune magazine, actually, which, by the way, is not a peer-reviewed, article, but some of these you can trust. Jamie Dixon, who is the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, is talking about how recession's going to happen this next 6 to 9 months. A recession's probably going to happen. But I promise you, if you stop and breathe and think about things before you jump into anything, it won't be as bad as you think. Some of us are going to have a harder time, but in the United States, generally speaking, nobody's going to starve to death and die. So for all those preppers out there that are fear-mongering, that are telling people that it's just doom and gloom and horrible, and if you're not prepared, you're going to starve. I have actually seen, this one lady, we'll just say she's on the southeast coast, has thumbnails, and there's a couple other people that have done this too, that actually say, prepare to starve. Ready yourself for starvation. Stop it. There is no reason to be fear-mongering people like this when what we need to be doing is helping one another and putting our heads together. If you have a few extra dollars, don't go spend it on anything you don't need. Put it in a jar, put it in an envelope, put it in your savings account. If you think you're going to spend it, put it in an envelope and stuff it somewhere where you never look at it, out of sight, out of mind, which is kind of a Dave Ramsey thing. I don't follow everything Dave Ramsey, but I do know he talks about envelopes, having, separate envelopes for different things. If you're a smoker, start looking now for ways to quit smoking and ask for help. Not only will that make your health better, but you can take that money and stick it in an envelope every day instead of putting it towards a pack of cigarettes or a vape cartridge. And you'd be amazed at how much money you have by the end of the year, which I have a friend that did that a few years back as well. It's time to start helping one another. It's time to start talking to one another and communicating and saying, hey, I have this and I can share it. Hey, I need this. Does anyone have this? Because it wasn't just the pandemic that we were all in it together. We're all in all of this together. See this? There's this big blue rock, and all of us are on it, and none of us are getting off from it unless you're an astronaut, and that's a whole other story. We're all in this together. So instead of fear-mongering and panicking, let's start talking about actual numbers and talking about the fact that a lot of things that are happening happened in 2008 and 2009, or have been happening all along, like the evictions. I know that rent is going up. So start looking for the cheapest area. I'm not talking about moving 1,200 miles away. Start looking for the cheapest area around you. And if you need to move, start putting money away to move. If you're a Social Security recipient, get on every subsidized housing list you can get on. Even if there's a years-long waiting list and you're like, it's just too long, I can't do. Well, you gotta live somewhere that year, so you're gonna have to get through it. Ask for help. And for anyone that is in a mission or a shelter or whatever right now, start asking for that help. Start putting your names on subsidized housing lists. And if you need Social Security and don't have it, apply for it. If you applied for it and got turned down, ask for an attorney. Start buying, like I said, little bits here and there, and putting things away. Put away a couple extra canned goods. Put away a couple extra dollars. Get out a peanut butter jar and start filling it with change. Seriously, this is my change, which, by the way, this could be like a weapon. This is my change from a year. It took me a year to fill up a Jif jar. I don't know how many ounces this was. It was basic size, decent sized Jif jar. And there's pennies in there. Obviously, silver will do you more good than pennies, but start putting your change away. Let's just talk to one another. Let's be open with one another and transparent, and let's help when we can help and ask for help when we need help. And let's start kind of burying some of these preppers that are fear-mongering, because I am so sick of people making money off of scaring people. It's not right. It's not right. Anyway, I will make a video again very soon. I will make videos of cheap meals. I will make videos of cheap meals for different diets too, because I know I have dealt with diabetes in the past. I actually am no longer a type 2 diabetic. I reversed it, but I've dealt with that. So I'll make meals that are lower in carbohydrates for diabetics. I will find some cheap snacks. I will find fun stuff for kids. We're going to have lots of fun and lots of talks here. I think I've finally found my thing because it's cathartic, and because I want to help people. I want to help people, not scare you. You don't have to be scared. I'm here, you're here, we're all here together. Let's support one another. I will see you guys all again very soon. Until I do, take care of one another. Okay? Bye, guys.